What's up, everybody? How you doing? E3 has come and gone, and I'm a few days late getting to this, but that's okay. Uh, so I've got some thoughts overall, and this show's gonna be exclusively, or I say strictly about what all was revealed at E3, or not everything, but I made a list of stuff that I thought stood out during the show, and hold on, let me find my list here. Got some lists here. But I tried to put them all in the order that they that they were revealed in during E3, but I probably messed that up. But anyway, let's waste no more time getting into things. Welcome to Brad's Bad Show About Games. My name is Brad, and I am not on my way to kill chaos. But I think we are covered on that end because the new Final Fantasy game will have us covered. Anyway, I guess we'll jump right into the first thing on this list here that I could remember, and that is a game that's called Splitgate, which is an arena shooter. I hope I'm using the term correctly. Before I do talk about that though, I do want to say that I had an E3 wish list that I went over for things that I wanted to see or thought we might see, and it turns out only like 3 of the things on my list we got any sort of new thing from. So I'll go over that later. But anyway, Splitgate looks pretty cool. The thing that really got me there, of course, the visuals interest me. It looks pretty fun. It reminds me a lot of Halo. It's sort of like Halo meets Warfork. I don't know if you've ever played Warfork. It's a free to play arena shooter on Steam. I played that a few times, like a year or two ago. I've tried to record footage for it, but every time I've tried to record for it, it screws up. But anyway, the thing that really sold me on this was there's one part where it looks like you open up a portal and then you shoot your enemy through the portal. So that was really cool. I don't know exactly how that's gonna. I don't know, what all else you could do with that, but that would be interesting. So yeah, that one is one I'm gonna keep on and keep an eye on. And before I move on to the next game, I do want to say this probably will be a longer show. I'm expecting it will be because I've got a decent list here of stuff that stood out to me. Some I'll talk about more than others, but anyway, that's all I really got to say about this game of Splitgate. But hey, I think it could be a fun game. Next game that stood out is Sifu. Now, the martial arts action in that is, it's a lot less Dragon Ball, or Dragon Ball Z, I should say. I just, for some reason, like watching this character do all these moves was very interesting to me, and that it just seemed like it again. Like a lot of these are just they look like they would be fun to play. Now I don't know how a game like that, like clearly doesn't look like it would be like a traditional fighting game, or work like a fighting game would. At least I don't know. That doesn't make sense, does it? Like fighting games, like you're gonna. Well, let me rephrase that. Are there gonna be like input commands to get certain moves to come out and use certain techniques, or is it gonna be almost like a hack and slash type deal, but when instead of swords, it's just your fist? I mean, it's probably gonna be more about the input commands, but either way, it looked really good. So a lot of very specific techniques, not just like punching, but like the way the punches connect and look was very unique looking. So I want to keep my eye on Sifu. Next up, we got Tunic, and this got mentioned a few times, I think, but I'm not sure. But yeah, this is going to be a really cute Zelda-esque game. I think I've already talked about this one from before. I think it was one of the first games they talked about. It's supposed to be a new demo coming to the Xbox. I think it may already be out. I don't remember what date they said it was going to drop. But I want to check out the new demo. Yeah, I think just visually the game looks great. I'm not again. The realistic looking graphics and how human you can make your human characters look does not sell me on a game. Sorry, Guardians of the Galaxy. I even if your stuff looks cool and your character models aren't necessarily bad, just the more realistic a game looks, just the more it seems like they're trying to push like that the realism is better than the cartoony. And that's what it makes me feel like. I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. You can be cartoony. You can have a cartoony serious, you can have a cartoony looking serious game. You know, you can do things and be emotional, and it doesn't have to be silly just because it doesn't look real or realistic or whatever. But yeah, Tunic looks really cute. I definitely want to play this game. You know, it'll be fun to play a Zelda-like game without it being Zelda, and to see, you know, what the little differences are between this and the Zelda games. But again, you know, I've already talked about this game. Don't want to spend too much more time on it. Now, here's one that I was not expecting, that kind of came a little bit out of nowhere. Nintendo, this apparently leaked right before they were set to reveal it, but or something, but Nintendo went ahead and confirmed it. We're getting a Mario and Rabbids 2 game. It's like the Stars of Hope or something like that. Let me see if I could find that. What is it called? Stars of Hope, I believe. Sparks of Hope. I was close. So there's a bunch. There's going to be some new Rabbids showing up. Of course, Rabbid Peach is everybody's favorite Rabbid. If you've seen the Donkey's top 10 hottest Mario characters parody video, you know how that ends. You'll know what his opinion on Rabbid Peach is. But I have a Rabbid Peach like statue somewhere, and I think Rabbid Mario. But that game was really fun. I don't think I ever completely beat it, so now that this game is coming, I'm going to have to start a playthrough for that on the channel. But it's a very fun little game. If you haven't played it, it's on sale a lot, which is something, you know, like this is the cheapest Mario game you could find. And yes, it's not technically an official Super Mario game, but you should play this one. And the second one is interesting, though. But I do want to mention Rabbid Rosalina, who's like emo. So that's kind of a funny thing. And there's some weird anime looking, or anime influence looking Rabbid. It shows up. He's black, and he's got black, green, and purple. So I don't really know who he's based on. But see, when I first saw this, my first thought was, like, I didn't recognize it, you know, off the bat that the Lumas, you know, that was what the Rabbids were taking the form of. Like, that, I mean, I did. I thought it was, and then they confirmed it. Because, like, that was my first thing. It's like, oh, I wonder if that's the Lumas, because that's what they kind of look like. Or is this some new thing? But no, it's the Lumas. But anyway, the thing that's going to be interesting about this game is apparently the combat is a little different in that you have like free range movement or something. So it's not squares that you move the characters around to now. I don't remember exactly how it was depicted, but it does look like the battle system will be changed some. Now, that's going to, you know, I really like the turn-based battle system and the moving around and everything. So, I don't know how different that's going to make it, but I guess we'll find out when it's time. So, Anyway. Hold on. Scratch my eye here. So yeah, Mario and Rabbids 2, I can't remember when they said that's coming, but this should be a really fun game. The first one was really fun. And it's always funny to see Mario with a gun, even if it's just a little laser cannon so that it's not real. So, good times are coming, and I can't wait to play. Uh, Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, I actually do think this could be a really fun game. Uh, I know a lot of people have issues with the character designs because of just how overly realistic everything looks. And I do think that, like, in these heavy fantasy games, that's distracting. Like, it's one of the reasons why I just don't care that much for live action superhero films, and that it's just so hard to suspend your disbelief that the, the living actor on screen that you're looking at is flying. I like back in the day, like people have pointed out that like Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, is that they used a combination of CG and puppetry to get the dinosaurs into the film. In some shots, you had fully CG dinosaur. In certain shots, you had a giant puppet. And the puppet and the CG would blend very well. And it looked more real back then, probably way more expensive, but it looked more real then versus now where they just they animate hundreds of dinosaurs into these Jurassic World films and they look CG. They don't look like they're there in the real world, but people just accept that they're CG. But we can't call these things like cartoons, like the Disney live action the live action Lion King film that they shot, which was almost entirely CG animated, except for like the opening shot of the sun rising in Africa. That's like the only live action shot in the whole film. The rest of it is CG. And they did not want to call it animated. And so that's a whole nother discussion. But again, despite all of that, I think this could be a very entertaining game because of like the choices you make. It seems to be like there's one part in the trailer they showed, the 25-minute long trailer that they dedicated to this game. Absolutely uncalled for to spend like that long on one game. Ridiculous. But and this is after they tried to show more stuff for Marvel's Avengers, which tanked. Nobody plays this game. Nobody cares about this game anymore. I mean, no offense to people who do like the game, but it was overwhelming majority seems to think that game is not good, it's not fun, and there's no content. Well, you're getting some content now, I guess, but long overdue from the looks of it. I haven't played it. It did look fun, but all the negative reviews just kind of turned me off to it. I would much rather go find like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 for the Switch. That game looks a lot more fun to me. I don't know, it may be a completely different style game. I don't know. But anyway, one more thing on this about the part of the trailer where Drax decides that the best option to activate a bridge is just to throw Rocket over a ravine and hope he makes it. And you're given a choice to either as you control or you fill the role of Star-Lord, and you're given the option to either encourage Drax to throw Rocket over there, or try to discourage him from throwing over there and say like, no, that's probably not the best idea, and if something were to happen to Rocket, then that would leave us a man down, and we need all the manpower we can get. And the trailer has him encourage him to do it, and so Drax just chunks Rocket over there. And it makes Rocket mad. He starts like swearing and getting all mad and insulting everybody. And then you see a little notice up there that that doing this has negatively affected your relationship with Rocket. And so that implies that doing that, okay, yeah, you got across the ravine faster, but at the cost of Rocket's trust in you. Or how far he's willing to go to, work with you. So it's going to impact the story in some way. So that's a cool little feature there, and I do think I do want to play this game. So hopefully it's not it doesn't have the same sort of baggage that the Avengers game did. And like I said, as much as I don't like the super realistic graphics and everything, I do think that the character design do look good, and I do think it'll be a fun game. The next game this one kind of took me by surprise. I'm like I've said before, I'm not a shooter game guy, but I will play them if they can catch me. If they will make me like say, hey, there's something a little bit more to this than just shooting people. That is Redfall. And this looks like a it's like a vampire shooter thing, but everybody has superpowers. Now, I don't know exactly what these superpowers will do, but it looks like your goal is to eradicate a surge in vampires or something similar. And you've got like this little team of 4 here and their little robot assistant. So this one stood out to me. And I think that this combo of shooter plus superpower thing with a vampire theme is interesting. I don't really have anything else to say about it because that's all I get from this is like, oh, this is going to be a really cool game. So, yeah, this one could be cool. There was another one that was like, what was it, like Earthlink or something like that? I don't remember what the game was. It was like the first thing they showed off in the, it was the first thing they showed off in the Xbox presentation, but all they did was basically show off like the graphics and, oh, this is so good. And I'm like, they didn't really, they just basically told you how pretty it's going to look. That's it. But anyway, Redfall, looking forward to that. The Xbox fridge was revealed. I don't know if this is like an old rumor or what, but it's just funny to me that there's going to be a refrigerator that looks just like the new Xbox Series X and Series S. And I made the joke immediately, like somebody out there is going to buy this for their kid and set it on like their coffee table and then say, hey, Junior, come in here and look at this thing. And they're going to see it, and the kid's going to get real excited. And like, oh, is that a? And then the dad's going to go, yep, son, it's a new refrigerator. And then it's just instant disappointment. That's somebody's going to do that. And it's happening. It's going to happen. But I mean, it's just a fun novelty item. I think I'm way more interested in the KFC gaming console though, because you can game on it. See, this one doesn't, from the looks of it, this one you can only keep your drinks cool. It doesn't play games. The KFC gaming oven actually will allow you to keep some chicken tenders warm while you play Fortnite or Mario or whatever it is that you could play on that console. So yeah, there's so your next Among Us round, in between rounds, grab a chicken tender, So this is just a cute little thing. I just thought that the potential for a gag out of it, of bait and switch joke there, was too good to pass up. Olli World, I think I talked about this one a little bit. I don't really have much to say other than I really do like the visuals of this game. I like the big, colorful, cartoony looks. Like when you make your games stand out, sometimes that's all you need. It's like I think there's like 2D sections of the game, but also 3D sections or something. Maybe a battle system. I'll have to go back and rewatch this, but I definitely want to give this game a try whenever it's out. It may already be out. I don't know. Some of these games are already out. But anyway, I think I may have already talked about this one too, or at least mentioned it. But moving on, speaking of Among Us from the last thing, Among Us is going to be given some updates, including upping the the player count to 15. So that could make games that like the big issue with the way I play the game, unless you're going in there with people you know and you could play it the way streamers have been playing it, where they, talk to each other over Discord and everything, which I don't like, or I don't care for Discord or anything, but that definitely seems like the better way to play. But for people who just want to jump into random games with random people, there's a pain in people not sticking around. People get in and they either don't get the role that they want, and so they abandon the game, or they just give up and they just, well, whatever. At least with 15 players, the games will last a little longer. So there's that. And there's other things, like I think they said something about like a hide and seek mode. So these must be all the ideas they had for the supposed like planned sequel that they were going to do to the game that they scrapped and then said, well, we'll just work this into the base game. So that's cool. Very interested to see all these new changes in action and play more Among Us. Slime Rancher looks kind of cool. Where you collect these cute little slimes, and there's different kinds and everything. I'm not sure exactly how, what kind of a ranking system this was, because I didn't know Slime Rancher was a thing. But, so, I don't know. It's again, this is just a list of games that stood out to me. And, but, like I said, all you need is some cool looking visuals or just fun looking visuals, and that, that's enough to get me interested. And so I guess wrangling up a bunch of cute little slime monsters could be a lot of fun. Life is Strange True Colors. I think this is a brand new game, but they're also remastering the other Life is Strange games. I haven't played any of those, but seeing how this like system of where this character can, if I remember right, she can read the emotions of people. So if somebody's sad, she can sense their sadness. I don't think that she can like read their thoughts. I'm not sure. Maybe she can. But she's able to see people's true feelings. So if somebody's really mad, they put off a red aura or something like that she can actually see. And then you use that information to influence these characters by having her go up to them and say like, hey, you want to talk about this? Blah, 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 blah. And basically the whole game is about building relationships between other characters. And you can either help characters like the one part they showed was this dude was having issues with his girlfriend or something like that. Or he had lied to her about something, but he really cared about this girl and he didn't want anything to affect that. And so you find out his secret or whatever it is he's lying about, or that he is lying about whatever issue is between him and his girl. And you say, you can choose to call him out on it, or you can choose to help him cover it up to keep their relationship intact, because he says, this girl is like the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And I don't want to lose her. And so you can either help him or you can sell him out, to put it nicely. So I don't think it really gives you, I can't remember it giving you a specific context as to what the guy did. I guess that's a story thing, but it does let you choose these things. And of course, sort of like the whole thing with Rocket Raccoon and Drax from the Guardians game, I'm sure that'll probably have big effects on how the story plays out in game. So again, like this actually did interest me though, and I kind of want to get into Life is Strange now after seeing the trailers for it. So yeah, I think this could be a cool game too. Grounded was interested because I don't think this was revealed, but there was some new DLC coming for it. Where the sense of this game I get is basically you're a kid and you shrink down. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You go down into your yard and there's big bugs and everything's big, and you just sort of pal around in your backyard as little tiny versions of yourself or of these kids. I don't know if this is like I don't know if this is like one of those games where you are supposed to be the character, you design your character or not, or if all of these characters have identities that you just play as. But this could actually be a really fun game to look into. I like this. Um, Back in the day, Walt Disney World, there was a section there that was there's like a playground section dedicated to like the MGM Studios or what they call now, I guess Disney Studios, dedicated to Honey I Shrunk the Kids, and it's a gigantic playground that looks like you are small. So you can climb up this gigantic net that's supposed to be like represent a spider web. You can go sit on top of a giant ant. You know, you can go inside of like a or up to next to like a giant battery or something that's fell in the yard or something like that. But the playground is supposed to make you feel like you're, you know, itty bitty tiny. But this could be a fun game to look into. Like I said, I don't think this is actually new from E3, but that is something. Replaced looked like a pretty cool game visually. There were several other games like that too, like these 2D games, but the art style stood out a lot. I don't really remember what this was supposed to be about, but it's definitely something I wanted to remember. So, at the very least, I'll be able to come back to this show and let me stretch. But anyway, it'll be interesting to come back to this show and look back through all these games. Like I'm like right before I did this, I was thinking back on like some games that had been announced like last year during the summer of gaming that we haven't heard from. But again, like I'm very hopeful for a lot of these games, and this one stood out visually. Wish I could remember a little bit more of it right now. I'm trying not to dig too much on the internet. But Party Animals also. This could be really fun. It reminds me a lot of like Human Fall Flat or whatever that game was. Like I've seen Donkey play there's a video where you like take things from people, but the way the characters move is like you could shoot them, you could like punch people, you could take stuff from them. It's really funny looking, and I don't know, even just this image here with like this dog or this fox or whatever it is holding a crossbow and aiming at me. I think this could just be a fun little goofy game to play. So I hope to see more of this one. Now here's something that nobody was expecting, but it makes perfect sense, and it actually has me excited to get back into the game again, and that is a Sea of Thieves Pirates of the Caribbean crossover. Like, this is actually really cool, and I like Sea of Thieves, but I usually play by myself, so I don't get like the whole satisfaction of playing with like a crew and everything. But this could be really fun, and I'm curious to see what all they bring in. I saw Davy Jones is gonna be in it. Like, if Davy Jones is a boss that roams the sea, and like you just happen to, like if you have the worst luck that you'll just happen upon the Flying Dutchman, like that would be really scary. Like you already kind of do that in the game with like the ghost ships and everything, but like imagine that you're like just floating out there, you're trying to get to your the next port, and then suddenly it's like starts raining, and then the Flying Dutchman pops out from under the sea, and then like all these fish dudes like storm your ship, or they try to blast you down, like, and Davy Jones maybe can just show up. You know, that's gonna be scary. But yeah, this is a really cool crossover idea. I'm curious to who played Jack in this trailer, because it sounded very much like Johnny Depp. And I know that like Depp did not do Jack Sparrow for like the Kingdom Hearts series, so I don't know who. I assume it would still be the same person, whoever the official Jack Sparrow impersonator is for the voiceover world, more than likely. But again, this was like unexpected, but it makes complete sense. a very nice little surprise here. So curious to see how this will change the game and what all they will bring to the game. Back for Blood stands out for me. This is a zombie shooter, like these weird. It's like it's not just zombies though. This is like these crazy mutated monsters. But I don't know. There's something about the gameplay that I keep seeing. I know this one isn't really new either. Oh, excuse me. But I don't know. It's just something about watching the gameplay. It just looks really, really fun. I didn't include a image of it here, but like I'm vaguely interested in that Evil Dead game, so that could be something worth keeping an eye on. Both of those games, and you know, at least it's not your standard like zombie shooter. Like I don't know. Halo multiplayer. This actually has me interested because, like I said, I like Halo, but I do have to compliment them here. There will be battle passes that you buy. I don't know how that's exactly going to work with this game versus like, but they give you something that you don't get with Fortnite. And that is if you you could pick from multiple battle passes and you can go back and get old ones. So like if Fortnite, there's a new battle pass every season, but once that season's over with, you can't go back and get anything from the old ones. You can't go get an old battle pass. In this game, though, you can. And I think you could stop and start progress on particular battle passes that you have. So that's interesting. And otherwise, like, it looks really fun. And I like that it is going to be free to play. The multiplayer version, or the multiplayer part of the game. So you don't have to really buy anything. You could play this game completely free, and that's a cool little feature. You don't have to spend any money on it aside of buying your console. So, cool thing to keep an eye on there. And maybe I'll check out the story mode too. But I'm more interested in this here because I think this could be a lot of fun. Dodgeball Academia got announced over Twitter. I don't remember seeing this anywhere in like any of the presentations, but Nintendo tweeted it out. Could be interesting. Again, visually it stands out. It looks like it was heavily inspired from like OKKO or something like that from Cartoon Network. Very anime-esque, but also the tint of Western animation that is influenced by Japanese animation. So, like I said, first thing I saw when I saw this was I thought, OKKO. So, anyway, I do want to check this out. This could be a fun little game to check out. Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. The 6 original Final Fantasy games with these remastered, I guess they're like widescreen versions of these games. I think somebody said that they are the mobile versions of the game or something like that. But they will be releasing at some point. But the kicker here is that they're going to be released individually, not as a collection, not as like a pack online that you could buy and get a discount for. No, you're gonna have to buy all 6 of these separately, and that's annoying. But if you could play these old pixel games in 16 by 9 aspect ratio, that would be kind of cool. Like, as long as it's not cutting the graphics off, then I don't care when things like that get done. But anyway, I do think that is the negative aspect of that, though, is that they're going to be sold separately instead of as a collection. But maybe they'll do a collection in the future. Some other Final Fantasy stuff mentioned, but I'm not really worried about it. I think it's like more for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like I said before, that what was it called? Final Fantasy Origins or something like that. The one with the 3 protagonists where the main dude, everybody said, was wearing just regular everyday clothes and says, "I'm going to kill Chaos 1,000 times." But that could be, I think those 2 games could be fun as well. But I didn't, they didn't stand out in a big way enough for me to put them here. But it'll be interesting to see how it looks the more we see of it. And so now we're gonna get into the part of this whole past week that I was looking forward to the most. And unfortunately, nothing really blew me away about this E3 or this particular presentation. But there's, again, just like I said, there's some good stuff here. Nintendo's E3 opens up with the reveal that Kazuya from Tekken is joining Smash Brothers. Now, I know this has caused a little bit of a stink because some people are assuming that this is not a popular character and he's too obscure to appeal to Smash players. And I just don't. I think these are like really weird takes. Like, Tekken is not like an obscure title. Like, just because you don't play anything, maybe you don't like this character, maybe you've never played Tekken. I have almost no knowledge. I don't. If you showed me this guy, I could probably tell you he was a Tekken character, but I couldn't have told you like what his role is. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm still happy for several reasons. One, they surprised me. I was not expecting this guy to show up in Smash, so always a plus when they pull somebody out that I wasn't expecting. Two, I've been saying that I wish Smash had more fighting game representation. And here we go. We got a fighting game character, a legit fighting game character added to Smash. That is a good thing. But the thing is, the question is, how will he play? They showed a little brief video of his moveset. But the thing about Tekken is that these characters have like a huge list of moves they can use in the game because of the way the game controls. Because there's 3D element to the fighting, not 2D. But every character has like a ton of moves, and so are they gonna allow you to be able to combo and build combos like that? Because it looked like you might could. But anyway, here's our character. In a few weeks, Sakurai's going to give us a demonstration of him. And then I assume he'll release that day or the next day. So now we only have one character left. Who will it be? I think now with only one character left, there's only two options. You've got to go out big. And so the two main options I'm looking at now are Crash Bandicoot and Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I think it couldn't be either one of those. Like either if it's not one of those, then it's going to be a letdown. Because the hype for Crash is definitely there. The hype for Sora is definitely there. But, like I said before, it doesn't really matter who it is. The roster's already legendary at this point and is probably the best fighting game roster ever put together like this in an official capacity, and every new character is just gravy. It's just extra goodness. So Kazuya adds some stuff here, and whoever the final character will be will surely be special. I hope they learned from Byleth from the last season being the one to wrap everything up will not be adequate enough. So like I said, I'm gonna try to stay optimistic there. But yeah, I'm officially saying that Fortnite rep in Smash is not going to happen. I do not see that happening now. I was partially expecting one of the things I wanted to see was the reveal of Samus coming to Fortnite, but it looks like that rumor is still holding merit that Epic and Nintendo could not come to an agreement to get Samus into Fortnite, and therefore I don't think you're going to see any Fortnite characters in Smash. But moving on, we got a new Mario Party game, Mario Party Superstars, which looks exactly like Super Mario Party, but the deal here is that it's got 5 maps from N64 and GameCube Mario Party games. And over 100 minigames from over Mario Party's history. So, like, Bowser's Big Blast is coming back again. And that's really cool to me. And I did say I think that this should have maybe been just a DLC update for the Super Mario Party game that's already out. But I guess I'm okay with this. I guess they felt like it was different enough and there's enough changes here to warrant it being a separate game completely. Maybe people who weren't sold on the old game might get this one. So I guess they thought that this was the best legal I'm yawning so much. That this was the best option to go with. But either way, I'm excited. I definitely want to play Super Mario or Mario Party Superstars and see just how all else it'll be different from the first game. Here's one that took people by surprise. Metroid Dread is coming to the Switch. A 2D platformer Metroid game. Now, apparently this was rumored like 15 years ago for the console at the time, and then they canceled it, but then they brought it back. And so now we're going to get it on the Switch. And it looks really good. You know, it's not Metroid Prime 4, which everybody was really excited about, but this could be something to hold you over with until Metroid Metroid Prime 4 is ready to be revealed or, officially. Again, I guess I should say. It's already been revealed. But, yeah, I definitely want to check this game out. What else we got here? WarioWare, get it together. This was a surprise, too. I don't think anybody was expecting a new WarioWare game. And I've never played any of these games, but they look really funny. And I bet they're lots of fun to play. But, I did kind of feel bad, though, because looking at it, I was kind of hoping maybe it would be Wario Land. A new Wario Land game would be really fun to play. So, who knows on that end if we might get that or not. Maybe depending on how well this game sells. But I'm excited to give this one a try. My first WarioWare game. We'll see how that turns out. And you can play with 2 players. That's new. Game & Watch Zelda. So right after they talked about Skyward Sword and how this was the very first story of the Zelda continuity and how it was coming to the Switch and the controls had been reworked. After they did that, they had, of course, the director of Zelda come out and talk about how Zelda's. He had a few announcements regarding Zelda. First was this one, the Game & Watch, the Legend of Zelda Game & Watch. Now, of course, if you remember, Nintendo did a red one for Mario's 35th anniversary. This is also for Zelda's 35th Mario's 30th anniversary. What is it? 30th, 35th. Anyway, this is also going to be done in celebration of Zelda's anniversary, but and it is cool. It's got 3 games on there, 4, I guess, if you count the Game & Watch, whatever game that was, where you play the Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and then the original Game Boy Link's Awakening on this Game & Watch. And then there's something else there where they give Game & Watch a Link face for one of the mini games, and then there's a stopwatch and everything. But they kind of dropped a bomb here in that they announced that they had no further games planned for the Nintendo Switch which implies that outside of what's already been announced, there will be no other Zelda games coming to the Switch, which to me is a way of saying without saying that there will be no Zelda 3D collection, All-Star 3D collection like Mario got, and that's a big disappointment. I know that you could still buy the HD Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on the Wii U shop, But it is disappointing that they're not going to do anything with um oh, I lost my train of thought. But it is disappointing that they're not going to do a port for those classic games. I get that they're on that, but you could get Mario 64 on the Wii Shop too. So there's no real excuse for it. Speaking of which, I absolutely hated that there was no update on Mario 35, the Battle Royale game for the first Mario Brothers game that they pulled off the shop. I hate that they did not give us an update and say like, "Oh, we're reworking this to make it to give you more people to play against, and it's going to be out officially and for good, at the end of the month or whatever." So hate that they didn't bring that up. Hate that they didn't bring up the Mario 3D collection and say like, "Hey, remember these 3 games? We made this once in a lifetime collection item that you can get now, and that we're only going to make a few of. Actually, we'd like to do that for Zelda." Like, nope, no concern with doing it for Zelda. They just don't care. So that's disappointing. And of course, we finally get new footage of Breath of the Wild 2. The title is being kept secret right now by Nintendo because they feel like it would expose too many gaming secrets. It would expose too many people who it would expose too many people to what the game would actually be about. Anybody with a brain probably would be able to figure out what the theme of the game is supposed to be. So annoying, but I can kind of appreciate it. Anyway, some cool stuff in here. Some people think that Zelda's going to be playable. I think it could happen. People definitely want it. But I still think my theory on Ganondorf's state of undead under the castle is going to be true, where the war from 10,000 years ago saw Ganondorf get locked away, and he was sealed. I think it's going to end up being that he was sealed at the bottom of Hyrule Castle, and he tried to manifest himself a new body, because that one was stuck in a state between life and death, and the only way for him to, to continue the recycling process would be to pretend that I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, looks good visually. Castle's going to be up in the sky. The aerial stuff from in the sky, it looks a lot like the free falling from Skyward Sword. I think it would be an interesting idea to see if this game decides to try to loop time by making this both a sequel, like the most recent event in Zelda's history, while also directly connecting it to the original first story of Zelda's history in a way that, creates a weird time paradox where the future is the past and the past is the future, or something like that. And then you just fit things in as you need. But, who's to say? And that is basically my summary of E3. Lots of good stuff here. The only thing I will say, though, about Zelda again is that the idea that they say they're pushing to have a 2022 release, which does not sit well with me, in that I think that means they're not sure they're going to be able to get this game out next year. Now, of course, no crunching, but it is discouraging as somebody who wants to play this game to know that they're already saying maybe next year, but they're also saying it may not be next year. It may be the year after that, because there's no reason to get so dark and gloomy over a it's very easy for people to get discouraged, because this is a game that people have been waiting for years now, and it still potentially could be years before we get it. All you're going to get is teases. And then, of course, the whole thing with a name. But I get not wanting to spoil anything, but, it is what it is. But hey, that's the show. Lots of cool games coming. lots of interesting, fun things to play. And I'm gonna see how many of them I can bring to you guys on the channel. So E3 definitely was a lot of fun. Uh, I love whenever I get a chance to talk about a lot of new stuff like this. I wish more people would watch my videos so that they could get excited too. But overall, super fun, very happy, and can't wait to play some of these games, give them a chance, and see just how different they actually are. So anyway, that's the show. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe. And go watch the old episodes. Go watch some of my gameplay stuff and my Fortnite videos and all that stuff. And we will see you next time. Later.